Welcome to a pilot slash let's try this video where I take a look into tabletop gaming, different systems, different books, modules, all of that, and just tell you guys what I think about them, share a little bit with you. This will not be a huge deep dive, as I would like to keep them relatively decent, because there are some things like in the book today that I could spend 20 minutes on just one thing. So that's all. This is going to be a quick look. Today we're looking into the new book, Adventures in Rokugan. This is by Edge Studios. This is a new version of their popular tabletop RPG, Legend of the Five Rings. The difference is this utilizes the 5e system, which is pretty fitting since they began, or at least this setting began its tabletop RPG history in Dungeons and Dragons. So this book is both a module and a standalone game. So what does that mean? It means you can add this into Dungeons and Dragons, or frankly, you don't even need a Dungeons and Dragons book to play it. You can just have it as a completely separate thing. I'll explain why it can be its own separate thing. This book is divided into two sections, known as books. The first book is player options. This is gear, classes, subclasses, new lineages that are known as species. I just like the lineage word. I think every system that uses 5e should have it. I just like it. Book 2 is for more DM stuff. It is history of the world, maps, monsters, and a few other things. Now, personally, I'm going to be honest. I thought I was going to see a lot of reskins in this book, especially on established D&D classes and weapons, but that's not actually what I found. Well, actually it is. I did find some reskins. They reskinned the fighter twice. I don't know why. It's the same attack profile and ability score improvements, but no other Dungeons and Dragons class is in here. No barbarian, no monk. There is a type of monk, but they feel completely different in how they work. But these new classes really feel like they belong in medieval Asia. One thing that disappointed me, though, is the lack of magic in this. And when I say that, I don't just mean spells, I mean magic items as well. Or magical abilities. There is a surprising lack of that, and that's because this campaign setting does things a little differently, and this is how it can be a standalone game. The spell system that we're used to in Dungeons & Dragons has been thrown out and replaced with a brand new system. Or maybe it's the system they used in Legend of the Five Rings, and that system is invocations. I'm not going to go into what an invocation is. I will tell you, though, a dive into the internet. There were a lot of people complaining about the invocations and the spellcasting classes. That seemed to be very much the only complaint I kept finding was that system. Maybe the system's good, though. I haven't done a complete deep dive into it yet, mostly because spells are not really my favorite thing. I prefer martial classes, so I just haven't fully deep dive in. If you think invocations is good, though, I want you to comment down below and tell me why it's good. You know, tell me I'm full of it, or just be nice, but who on the internet wants to be nice? There is one thing that I really did enjoy in the magic department of this book, and that is there are no magic items in the campaign setting. There are awakened items. These are weapons, armors, and other pieces of items and gear that have gained magical abilities. How you do this is there is actually a system. It is a tiered system that you can level up these items by doing particular things, and every time you level up, it gains new abilities and a better attack or defense profile. I really like this system. I think it's awesome, and I'm actually going to be implementing it into my games. Just has to be non-magical items. So maybe we should actually talk about something I really did enjoy. And, oh, I enjoyed this so much. And you can see it on my face, how much I enjoyed this. If you know me, you know I am a huge fan of Japanese cinema, especially Chambara films. I prefer these. For you who don't know, Chambara means sword style. So I prefer samurai films, especially period samurai films. There's a difference between normal Chambara and period Chambara. I'm also a huge fan of warfare history, weapons, tactics, martial arts study. I love understanding all of that. I cannot tell you how much this book is everything I want in a D&D book. It is amazing with weapons and gear. We got naginatas, hook swords, katanas, chain sickles, nunchaku, 3-section staffs, wakatashis, zanbatos, new bow types, arrow types. And if you're a martial arts person and you just heard 3-section staff, yes, the weapon that I am afraid of personally. Not because I think it's dangerous to go against, mostly because I think it's dangerous to use it. If you know what it is, it's basically a giant nunchuck with 3 sections on it. And you use this wrong, you're going to crack your head open. And none of this is reskins. They are all brand new, special properties, special rules, all of that. There are standard weapons in here, like the greatsword is in here. So for you who just heard, I said greatsword, and a few minutes ago I said zanbato. A zanbato is a massive blade, but in this game, you would think that the zanbato and the greatsword would be the same thing, because that's how I've always run it in my games, just reskin a greatsword. But not in this game. In this game, zanbatos deal more damage than a greatsword and have the special property that says they cannot take attacks of opportunity. For you who don't know, a zanbato is a massive katana. Now, when I say huge sword, a lot of people think the Buster Blade from Final Fantasy, or the zanbato that appeared in Rurouni Kenshin, or even Dragon Slayer from Berserker. It is a sword designed to cut horses and people that are riding the horses in one swipe. That is what this is. And it's not a giant blade, it's just a really big katana. And I love it. To hammer it home, this section has 2 weapons in it. 2 that samurai trained to fight with. The fan and the reinforced smoking pipe. That's right, in this game, you have a fan that you can use as a fan and a pipe you can use as a pipe, and then you can beat someone with them. And they have a special rule that says defense. What is a defense property? The defense property is when you're holding at least one defensive weapon, you gain +1 to your AC, unless you are holding a shield, and then you don't get a +1. You get the shield's +1. So basically there's no stacking this. If you hold a fan in one hand and a pipe in the other, you are not getting +1 for both. You're only getting +1 for one. I love the fact that they added these 2 weapons that samurai trained with, just so they can have defensive abilities when they don't have their weapons in this book. I love this section. It's great. Now, we should also talk about something that underwhelmed me, and frankly, I need a little bit more time with. And that is player characters, aka in this book, species. Within this book are new playable characters that have not been in any Dungeons & Dragons book, that are based on mythological creatures from Asian culture and humans. Normal fantasy characters are not in here. No elves, no dwarves, no halflings, none of that. And that's not what underwhelmed me. The humans are normal D&D humans. You have normal human that has +1 to all their stats, or a variant human that has +1 to 2 stats and gets a feat. That is what you get in this book. The other races, on the other hand, these are yokai, kitsune, tengu, and more. But they are less standardized than most Dungeons and Dragons or 5e modules are. There is no everyone gets 2+ to 1 stat and 1+ to another, or +1 to 3 stats. Every single species in this book has its own ability score modifiers. I believe the Nagas get +2 to 1 stat and +1 to another stat, but then the Tengu only get +1 to 2 stats. It's very less standardized, and I'm just not in love with this section. If you know me, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, I have multiple Tengus tattooed to me. I have a total of 5, 6 if you include Sojibo, the king of the Tengu, and I have a few more that I'll be getting over the course of the next few years. And the Tengu, I think they need a little work. Just, it doesn't feel like a depowered Tengu to me. Tengu are very powerful, and this creature is not that. But it's not a bad section. I just don't like it myself. Maybe I need more time with it. So let's finish this out by praising Edge Studios for a few things. Now, I'd like to say this book is not amazing. It's great, but not amazing, but it's not bad. And as I said, there are a few things in it I don't like. But I want to praise them for a few things. And what I want to praise them for is, first, the art in this book is amazing. I remember getting into Dungeons & Dragons and 3.5 and thinking, the art's good, but it's not great. I love art. You can't see my art table over there, my tablets downstairs for art, and this book has some beautiful art in it. It also doesn't feel like they watched an anime or played a video game like Shadows Die Twice and said, let's make that. This does not feel like that. This really does feel like they tried to ground it in medieval Asia and make it fantasy. Finally, there is one thing that they need praised for. And it doesn't even matter if you don't like this book or not. This needs to be praised. When you buy this, you get a free PDF version of the book. Free. This is not a bundle deal that you have to buy from them. That's right. Go to your local game store. Get this book. Inside is a code for a free PDF that you can get by going to Drive-Thru RPG, purchasing this book again, put in the code 100% discount. That is amazing. I love that. More companies need to do that. I'm looking at you, Wizards of the Coast and Games Workshop. Yeah. Tired of this. You know how many, you can't see them because I'm blocking them, but there's a giant stack of books that I would love to have PDFs for, but I don't because Games Workshop does not do that. Okay, guys, that's it for this test run pilot. I don't know if I'll ever do this again video. I cannot wait to start using the weapons and gear in this, as well as the awakened magic items. I probably will, in fact, use the species and some of the classes, though I think I need more time to digest the spellcasting classes. I just don't like them, but maybe I just need to look deeper into them. Did you guys like this video? If you did, like the video, leave a comment, because there's actually a lot of stuff I have that I would love to show you guys, including bunkers and badasses, the Borderlands tabletop RPG. I got Fallout 2D20. I have so much stuff that I'd like to share with you guys. And I want to know, did you like this? And maybe we'll do it to also include new Dungeons & Dragons books when they come out, if the new edition isn't completely garbage. And let's end it with how it should always end. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and the subscribers to this channel. Seriously, I never thought I would enjoy making content, and you guys have shown me it is really fun. So thank you all.